A few days ago, the Lekki Concession Company, LCC, announced the resumption of tolling at the Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge on April 15, following the reopening of the toll plaza on April 1. Tolling of the Lekki Bridge as well as the Lekki toll gate at Admiralty roundabout was stopped during the NSAS protest and the shooting of unarmed protesters by security forces in October 2020. Ever since, the public has resisted attempts by LCC to resume tolling at both locations. With the announcement by LCC, it is yet to be seen if the new technology and innovation to be introduced by the concession company will eliminate traffic snarls on the bridge and the roads leading up to it. Commuters plying the route have often complained that the economic cost of congestion by far outweighs any monetary benefit the Lagos State government derives from tolling of the bridge. Now joining us to discuss the reopening of the toll plaza, the readiness of commuters to accept tolling, and the plans in place to eliminate traffic snarls on that route, is Gbenga Omotosho, Lagos State Commissioner for Information. Good morning, Omotosho, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
Well, thank you very much. Quickly, the main subject is about the toll gate that is now to be reopened. What guarantees can the state government give us in terms of agreements reached by the LCC company in charge of the toll gate and the residents associations and other stakeholders within that axis, and then guarantees in terms of ensuring that LCC does not come back and try to increase the toll fares, just to make up for the 18 months that toll gate was shut down. And then, of course, concerns as expressed by people living in that axis, moving in that axis, about traffic snarls.
Thank you so much for that question. First, let me just appreciate all of the people who are residents of Lekki and all the people who drive through that toll gate and who have shown so much understanding about the return of SCC to the toll gates. I appreciate what they have done. SCC has done a lot of stakeholder engagement, talking to residents, talking to motorists, and explaining itself why it has to return to the place, and ensuring, telling them that there will not be any traffic that is going to be disturbing business because of the return of the toll gates, and that there is not going to be any increase. If anything, there will be incentives. People will be allowed to pay better the way they used to pay. They will have a better way of paying, and then in the first few days after the reopening of the toll gates, there will even be concession to them. They will not be allowed to pay anything while the system is being perfected. So there is no way that they will come back and begin to do things that may cause hardship for motorists. And as for all of the work that the government has done on that road, the taking out of the first and second roundabout, and then making it more expansive for people to be able to drive through without any problem at all. And then all of the traffic lights on that road, they be restored. So everything that needs to be done has been done for us to be able to drive through that place without any traffic jam. And all of the things that the Lekki Concession Company have been doing on that road before, they have continued to do, ensuring that if there is any breakup, if there is any breakdown, the obstruction is removed as early as possible. If there is any security challenge, they come in there to resolve whatever the matter is, and then they assist motorists in every way possible, so that all of the things that can cause a traffic jam on the road, they have been removed, and they will continue to be removed. So I feel that it's going to be a smooth ride for everybody. And like I said before, I thank the Lekki residents for showing so much understanding, and for allowing LCC to come and see, commence its business on that road without anybody's business being disrupted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Omotosho. But you'll recall that last year, plans were announced to reopen the toll gates, and those plans were met with some public resistance. Now this has been announced that the toll gate is to open on the 1st of April, and there's a 2-week window where motorists will have free passage and then they'll start being charged. And it's also been met with some resistance. So is there any possibility that that April reopening will also be shelved?
From all the encouragement that SCC has gotten from stakeholders, people who live in that place, people who work there, people who even drive through, they have printed handbills that they've been giving to people. They have had various meetings with people who live around that area and those who use the road frequently. So I do not think there's going to be any resistance at all. The first time that SCC went to the plate, it was not just to reopen the toll and begin to collect a toll. It was just for the company to go there and see the kind of damage to its equipment and how such damage can be redressed, not for them to just go there and begin to toll. And even this one, you will agree with me, it has taken about 18 months for SCC to plan to return to the toll gate because it has no choice after owing local lenders about 11.6 billion and foreign lenders about $31.1 million. So there is no way that SCC can just stay away from going back tolling at that, on that road. And, you know, there are about 500 workers in SCC. All of them are, almost all of them, about 90% of them have been idle for the past 18 months. And they have families to feed. They have friends and relations to attend to. So for the company to want to return now, and like I said, people have shown tremendous understanding. Most of the people who have been vociferous about Lekki Concession Company returning to the toll gates, there are people who don't even live around that place. There are people, as I have discovered personally, who don't even live in Nigeria. They send messages from thousands of miles away and asking people not to go there and pay toll and saying all manner of unpredictable things about the toll gates and all that. And I feel that all of these things are things that are not supposed to be now. Because if SCC doesn't go back to that place to start tolling the road, I do not know how it's going to pay its debts. I do not know how about 500 workers, most of them young men who are just starting their families, I don't know how they are going to be able to cope with their life. So that is just the situation.
All right. You said some of the people that are talking don't even live in Nigeria, but they have a right to express their, displeasure, because some people will term that as very dismissive. What you just said. People that are saying all sorts of unprintable things. And secondly, how robust was the stakeholder engagement? Who were the people involved? I'd like to know. You said some traditional rulers. You said residents. Who were the residents that were involved in this stakeholder engagement?
Thank you for the first question and even the second. I am not saying that they do not have right to complain or right to criticize. But in Nigeria, most of us, we talk about our rights and privileges so much. How late can you find people talking about responsibility? If you look at tax to GDP ratio of Lagos, for example, it's one of the lowest in Africa. About 6 million Lagosians are expected to pay taxes. They are in the tax net, but only about 4.2 million are active taxpayers. So if you want to build a road like that Lekki expressway, all you can do is to just go and look for funding from banks, from financial experts, from money lenders. And once you go and borrow that kind of money, you need to repay back so that you do not spoil the place for other business people who may want to get overseas funding for their businesses, and that is what is going on. So the people who are writing all sort of things on the social media about the return of tolling at Lekki Toll Gate, I do not blame them. They have a right to do that. But when we talk about our rights, we also should be able to spare a thought, no matter how little, for responsibility. And then the stakeholder engagement that I spoke of is still going on, and it's massive. It's very encouraging what we are getting from there. Lekki, they have a residents association. So LCC has been meeting with residents association. LCC has been meeting with traditional rulers. LCC has been meeting with transporters. They've been meeting with all manner of people there, and then they've been printing handbills and giving to people, explaining to them why LCC needs to return to toll gate. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's going to continue. It's a discussion of logic. They are trying to tell people why they have to return there. Our brothers and sisters work there, and they've not been able to earn a living for about 18 months. Some of them have been earning half pay, and they feel that this is a condition that we have to reverse so that everybody can be on the same page and all can be well.
Okay, I think maybe we should move on from Lekki Toll Gate, but before then, just to make a comment that at least you've been able to clarify the point that the planned reopening and reintroduction of tolling at the Lekki-Ikoyi Bridge and at the Lekki Toll Gate is not an April Fool's Day joke. Because when some people say, April 1, could this be April Fool's Day joke? Okay, that's one. The second thing, of course, is that people are still raising questions. There are some people who even think that they should not be asked to pay any toll on those two bridges. After all, they pay tax to Lagos State. And there are persons who are also asking questions about transparency and accountability. They are asking who is behind the Lekki Concession Company, and that the state government needs to come clean with regard to that. We're talking about concessions in Lagos. There was a controversy recently about a lady, Bamishe, who died in a BRT bus. And that controversy is still out there. The governor was accused publicly of refusing to even pay any visit to the family or identifying with the family. And, it was thought that the state government say, it had no connection with the BRT, it's a franchise. All of that became very controversial. If you like to also shed light on that.
Well, first let me, on behalf of the governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, once again commiserate with the family of Bamishe and all of the people who showed interest in the matter. It's not everything that the government does that the government will come on television and begin to announce. I am telling you authoritatively that Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor, he has spoken about this matter 3 times, saying that as a parent, he felt the pains of the parents and all the friends and relations of the late Bamishe, and he has spoken to the parents. He sent a team, a big team of senior officials to the family. But we do not feel that this is something that we should make a political gain out of. People who are going there to cry, who belong to another party, going there to cry and making a show of it, they are not doing us any good. They are not doing the society any good. Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu will not begin to go to the family and call television cameras and all of that. He has spoken with the parents, and the parents, he calmed them down, prayed for them, and told them how bad he himself felt over this matter as a parent. We all are feeling bad about it. It's a very heart-rending matter. It's a very serious matter. It's any death of this nation, or of any kind of a nation in this kind of a brutal manner, diminishes our common humanity. It diminishes our claim to civilization. So nobody is happy about it at all. But nobody, I believe nobody, should see it as something to make a political gain out of. So Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu has been in touch with the family, but he's not going to go to television to begin to announce it. I'm now just telling you about it. He has been in touch with the friends of Bamishe, and he sent a very powerful team of senior officials to the family. And I thank the family too for receiving them, despite the fact that some people were telling them that they shouldn't be received. The family received them with open arms. So it's not a question of the governor looking away at all. He felt it, and he said so 3 times. And he promised justice that whoever was behind the killing of that girl will not go unpunished. And like the police have said about 2 or 3 days ago, that they have arranged the key suspect in court, and all the other people who are believed to be involved, if there are more of them, that they will continue the investigation and be able to track them down and bring them to justice. But one thing I would like Lagosians to note is that what happened about Bamishe's death, this is, in my own estimation, the first time that you have this kind of a big crime, and within 48 hours, the key suspect is arrested. I believe that in this case, the security agencies, they did well. And it's because of the kind of pressure that Lagos State government mounted on them that we would like to get to the root of this matter, so that if we get to the root of this one, you won't have this kind of a death occurring on any bus at all. Not even to talk about on government buses. So it's those who are thinking that the government or the governors not be sympathetic, they didn't get it right. It's just that we didn't make a show of it.
So much for that clarification. It's very important. Can we please have an update on the imbroglio with the Road Transport Workers Union and concerns by some Lagosians that their free movement might be impeded by any violence erupting from the suspension of Mr. Akinsoya, otherwise known as MC Oluomo? Is Lagos State in control of that situation? Can we have some details, please?
Yeah, Lagos State is on top of the situation. We do not see any violence breaking out. In fact, for us to prevent any act of violence, that was why Lagos State government moved in to say that it was suspending activities of NRORTW at motor parks. There was a quarrel between the national body of that union and the local chapter. And a few days before that conflict became an open affair, the local union had marched on the governor's office or home to say that they wanted to be on their own. They would not want to be part of NURTW, the national body, because they were not getting their own fair share of whatever is going on there, that they were not being well treated. And then the governor said he was going to look into the matter. And all of a sudden, a few days after, we heard that the Lagos State chapter chairman had been suspended. And of course, he himself now, I think in an attempt to fight back, he said, well, if you have suspended me, I will no longer be member of your union. And Lagos State government saw what was going on, and he said, okay, we are suspending activities of National Union of Road Transport Workers in Lagos so that we do not have any act of violence visited on Lagosians. Our own interest there is not just the union. Our interest is about peace. It's about tranquility. It's about people being able to go about their businesses in Lagos without any harassment at all. And I saw that people have been sending about some social media messages that there was going to be violence and all of that. It's part of the things we say about social media, that they don't confirm anything at all. They just see that somebody sits down in a room and throws it out there, and the whole place will go up in panic. Lagosians need not panic at all. The Lagos State government is on top of the matter. We are in touch with security agencies who have assured us that there is nothing like that, that people are free to go about their businesses anywhere, anytime in Lagos. And you have seen, I've been out all this morning, drove from my house to this place, and all of the people around me here, they came from various places. I'm in Alausa, the government secretariat, and nobody has reported any violence anywhere. So it is because we do not want violence in Lagos, that is why we have taken the decision that we have taken, and so far so good, it's working. The tension is going down.
To still go back to the issue of Bamishe, you're talking about, some people are trying to milk it for political gains, but should it be about that or the life that was lost of Bamishe? Because her brother, we interviewed her brother, and he said nothing was done. He had not even heard anything from the state government. And if you're saying that the governor, he didn't want to show off the visit, that's why he's spoken to them, and he didn't want to show off by going to visit them or use for anything. Some people sent me messages, and they're arguing that, But this was the same governor that we saw a video that went viral of him talking to girls that were carrying water on their head. And that was viral. But the case of Bamishe, that her life was lost, was not made viral. So those are some of the concerns a lot of people are raising out there. And secondly, please clarify for us as regards what is happening with NURTW. Because the Lagos state government says that there's a new fee they will collect from transport operators and the likes. But NURTW is still collecting money from people. There's a new rate that the government is collecting, the state government is collecting. But NURTW, apart from that, is still collecting money for some people. And some people have also brought the message forward that they still, get, I don't want to use the word, they still have to pay the NURTW levy. So how many levies are operators of motorcycles, rickshaws, and buses really paying in Lagos?
Thank you so much. First, let me go back to the question on Bamishe. Let me repeat it again, that from the governor to the lowest official of government in Lagos State, we are very, very sad about what has happened. It's a matter of emotion for us. And even amid this emotion too, we like to reason, so that we can crack whatever may have caused this kind of problem. For us, it's diminishing this kind of death. For us, it's anti-civilization. For us, it's something that we should not be talking about in the Lagos that we are in. But here we are, faced with this kind of situation. Lagos is about 25 million people. It's a very big city-state. Every time you expect crime, any city of this size all over the world, in Chicago, in New York, crimes are being committed every second. But the ability of the government to respond immediately and be able to nab whoever is behind the crime is what makes government what government is, and it's what makes government credible to the people. And this is what I think we have done in this kind of instance. And like I said, Mr. Baide Sanwo-Olu will not go around inviting television cameras to come and see him weep over Bamishe. What he should do as a father, he did. He talked to the parents emotionally. He told them how bad he felt. And he told them he was going to be with them all the way to ensure that justice is done in this matter. And like I said, he is not willing to take any political gain out of this, apart from others who are going there to be crying openly and bringing camera to come and see them crying there. No, he's not going to do that. I mean, it's not good to make a show of because this girl is dead. We feel very, very sad, and I do not think that this is the kind of death that we go out of our hearts so soon because of the manner of death, because we are after justice, because we do not want this kind of thing to happen again in Lagos. So everybody who feels that maybe Mr. Baide Sanwo-Olu has not cried enough over this matter, I appeal to them to know that genuinely we feel bad about it, and that we do not want to do anything that is going to make those who may have committed this crime to be able to slip away. While we are mourning, they just slip out of the crowd and go away. We do not want that kind of thing. And that of NURTW, I will want to clarify the position of that union. It's like any other union of artisans, of maybe doctors, of sports people, any union at all. And people have a right to belong to any union or association they want to belong to. If they have subscribed to that association to say that, well, we want to be members of the association, and the association is saying that they have a levy that you have to pay, and they go there to pay willingly, government has no problem. Where government has a problem is that if this association wants to use its activities to cause trouble in Lagos, we will move in and suspend their activities. And that is what the government has done. As for the levy that the government is collecting, it is also to safeguard the interests of drivers, to safeguard the interests of Lagosians. A driver drives all the way from Badagry, is going to the island. He passes through 3 local governments or 4, and at every local government is given a ticket to pay for. And at the end of the day, he has paid like 3,000 or more for tickets. And the government is saying, no, let us consolidate everything. So the union dues is different from what the government is charging them, and which so many other people are taking advantage of. The LASEPA, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, goes into motor parks to issue a ticket. The Transportation Ministry goes in there to issue a ticket. LOMA, the waste collector, goes in there to issue a ticket. And the government says, no, don't do this anymore. Just one ticket is enough. And then the levies that the Road Transport Union members are paying to their union, it is their own. Government has nothing to do with it at all. They are paying out of their own volition. And like every other union, nobody is looking into how the money is paid into the union of artisans, for example, the union of barbers, for example. Nobody is looking into how this money is paid into them. But it's just because of the sector to which NURTW belongs, transportation, that people are taking interest in it. And that is why government too is taking interest in it, to regulate them and ensure that the activities don't cause trouble for Lagosians, so that all of us can drive on our roads without anybody harassing us.
Okay, we have just about 3 minutes to go, but we'd like updates on, I think, about two more subjects. The first will be the crisis at Magodo Phase 2, when, policemen took over that estate, and then the governor went there and tried to get the Inspector General of Police to call off his men and all of that. What's the update now? How far has the government gone in ensuring peace between the landowners and the residents? Another issue relating to demolition and land has to do with the Kim village under the bridge just before Jota around Maryland. Many of the artisans and the property owners there, they've been protesting, they've been complaining that the government just demolished their structures without offering them any help. What's the update also in that regard?
Well, let me start with Magodo. We thank God that there is peace in Magodo now. What the government has done is that it has reinforced its position that is for justice, and that the judgment that the Magodo Shangisha Landlords Association secured at the Supreme Court, that it will obey. And in obeying that judgment, the government called them to a meeting and told them that we've been able to find you some parcels of land that we will give to you. But they are now it became a controversial issue among the landlords, whose name should be on the CFO, whose name should not be there. Everybody should line up and collect his own piece of land. People are saying, no, just give us 549 plots. We'll go and see how we can share the plots among ourselves. And then another group is coming up to say, no, we are the ones who should be given the right to sign the CFO. Our name should be there and all of that. So the government is saying, hey, go and sort yourselves out. And while you are doing this, you come back to us in about 14 days. If you don't come back to us with an agreement that you guys have agreed, whose name should be on the CFO and all of that, we do not know what to do anymore. So the government returned to the Supreme Court and said that this judgment that you have given about Magodo, please explain it to us. Who exactly has the right between these two people to be the rightful owner and the person who should claim the plots of land that you are asking us to give to these people? And is it one man, one plot, or you just a bunch of plots that you be giving just so in the name of the association? Who are we going to be dealing with? So these are some of the questions that the Lagos State government is asking the Supreme Court to answer. And as for the Kane village people, I can assure you that anybody whose property is demolished in Lagos and who has a paper to show that he is the rightful owner of that property will be compensated expeditiously. Lagos is the only place that I've seen that you are having a project, the Red Line, that has started, which by God's grace is going to be commissioned at the end of this year. When we remove people from the right of way there, they were asked to come and file for compensation. They filed for compensation, and the government paid everybody, and not just landlords. Government paid tenants to say that because of the disruption to your life, take money, go and look for another accommodation to rent. And that has not been done anywhere. I don't know, even whether anywhere in the world, that you have to pay the landlord and then you still pay the tenant so because you want to do a project. So if Kane Village people are complaining and they have a right to complain, they have a right to complain. If they have papers, I can assure you they'll be compensated, very well compensated.
Very much, Gbenga Omotosho, Lagos State Commissioner for Information, for joining us on the morning show. Thank you very much indeed.